All right, good afternoon, everyone. So task number 2 is the cash flow manager. I mentioned before it is attached to the strategist, but if you are logging into your back office, you're going to go to the income shifting membership, and then it's going to say cash flow manager. So that's how you get to it. Now, we all should have the app on our phones. If we don't, you need to go to your app store and type in cash flow manager, and the symbol is going to look just like this right here. Now, the great thing about the cash flow manager, both on the computer and the app, the buttons are exactly the same. The difference is on the actual app, it has that GPS tracker, and I'm going to get into it when I show you how to actually use it. So much like the cash flow strategist, you would create a new manager. Now, when you create a new manager, you can create a business manager or one for personal. In this example, I have everything in one location. Okay, so the buttons on your app look exactly like this. So we have an enter income and enter expense button. Now we know we're supposed to enter our expenses, but it's very important that you also enter your income, because you want to know how much you're bringing in versus how much is going out. And the only way we do that is if we enter the income. So I'm gonna start off with that. When you enter the income, you would go here, you would select the type of income it is. If there is a custom income type, you can always create one. So you can have commissions, your job, babysitting income, random money. You'll just put it in this section here, and then you would go back to dashboard. So you would enter the selected income, the date, the amount, who, what, when, where, and notes. There you can do a picture of your pay stub or your stub from that income, and it also allows you to do it reoccurring. So if it is income and you get paid every 1st and the 15th or once a month, you can actually program that in. So every time you come to your manager, you don't have to refill in the same things that you've already filled in. So moving towards the expenses, it works exactly the same. So this is how a reoccurring expense is going to look. It's going to pop up at the top, and you can confirm it. And when you do so, it's going to have everything that you want already plugged in, and all you have to do is save the entry. Now, if you were doing a manual entry, you would go to enter expense. You would select the type. Now, the great thing is that this is pre-populated. So much like what Greg was talking about with the Schedule C, how those things, your mileage, your advertising, your supplies, those things, they're already labeled in here. And the great thing about that is you can also customize expenses. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. You would put in the date, the amount, the who, the what, the when, and it's very important that you put notes. It is my understanding, and JT can correct me, the more detailed you are, the better it is for you, okay? Especially when you're entering an expense. So when you go back, if you're ever audited, you'll have exactly what this receipt is for, exactly what this expense is. Then you would choose a file. Now, the great thing about the app, and I like using the app a lot better than the computer when it concerns this, is because if you do it on a computer, now you have to figure out which file is which, what receipt is which. So the best thing to do is when you're entering expenses that you use your cell phone, use the app, okay, when you're entering expenses, because you can just take a picture with your cell phone and it will automatically generate this part here. So you don't need to find the picture. Now, as it concerns the mileage, on your phone, there is a GPS button. You will literally press start and stop. Once you do that, it's going to calculate the miles, the business miles that were used. And then you're going to go back in and put this information in. So that's the great thing about using your phone. Now, using your phone, everything that you put in the manager that way will populate on this end. Okay, so they work together. And again, just like the income, you can create a reoccurring expense, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annually. And you choose the date as to when you want it to start. And you would just simply save the entry. And once you have that over the course of a year, you would have something that looks like this. You will have your income. You would also have all of your expenses. In yours, you would have notes. You would actually have the receipt here. And at the bottom, it'll give you an average, a total of what you your expenses for the year. Now, the great thing about this manager is that not only does it break it down like this in this format, you also have a profit loss sheet. And the cash flow manager is all about being in control of your money, okay, much like the strategist. So a profit loss sheet is going to show you exactly where your money is going. And you want to be familiar with this because you want to be able to make the necessary adjustments. Now, here would be your expenses or your income, and this would be everything, if you tracked it correctly like we're supposed to, everything that is going out on a monthly basis. So you can see your cash flow. You can see whether it's positive or negative. Now this right here is the cash flows manager budget. Now with this is something that you set for yourself so you can analyze your own finances. For instance, if you said, I'm only going to pay my children $100 a month, and you see a trend that you're paying them $150, some months you got, $100, that means you're taking $50 from somewhere else. And you need to be more mindful of what you are doing so you're not $60 short. Okay, that's because you spent an extra $50. You went outside of where you were supposed to be. Even though you saved here in gas, you still are spending outside of your budget. So you want to make sure that you take a look at this on a constant basis so you know what's going out. Now, in order to create a budget, you would go to your dashboard and you would enter and edit budget here. Now in this portion, I actually use, because I use my business and my personal in one manager, I use my strategist to tell me what I'm spending every month. And I'll put that in my cash flow strategist. In my manager. So what I'm spending becomes my budget. So I can make sure I stay within that as I go throughout the year. So you would simply add new, you would select the type, is it a income, is it an expense? And then you will put your monthly budget here. And that way you can see what is going on in your finances. Now the budget isn't on this side, but it is on the profit loss sheet. You also have a printable, can't talk today. You can print this out, okay? You have a printable view. You have the mileage log. You have the annual report. And let me show you what the annual report is. This is what you give to your tax professional. And it looks just like what you just saw. So it has all of your information here, your reporting periods, and it has everything that you put in your expenses. So you give this to your tax professional and they fill out the Schedule C. I do not recommend that you do your taxes yourself, okay? My econ does not teach you how to be a tax professional, but it does give you the posture so you can have the conversation and be able to understand what is being done with your money, okay? We do have professionals to actually do your taxes, okay? We are not professionals. Well, I'm not. JT is, but I'm not, okay? That's why you go to the professionals. So you can enter your expenses there. Also on the cash flow manager, you can view your income, you can view your expenses. If you had any unsigned receipts, and again, that's why I say use your phone for this piece, because it's a lot easier than using your computer and trying to figure out what receipt is what. You can also review and edit your reoccurring expenses. I hope I have shown you something that you have not seen before, and that will conclude my training.
Outstanding job, Stephanie.
Awesome.
Well, we're going to keep the show going.